Hey guys, Peter Chen here, recording another 500 Zoom video. I upload videos every week, so if you enjoy, please like and subscribe. On table one here, this hand is checked down. I have king high. I think it could be a call in a 2 big blind pot, but maybe I do need to have a kicker. Not really sure. On table two, going to be defending blind versus blind with 5-4 offsuit. We flop a pair. I think we could either bet or check. Going to check. On table one, 3-betting button versus cutoff with king jack offsuit. Now with my 4, I'm going to call. I think against this big size, I can fold anything probably less than a pot size bet. I would call this. On table one, opening small blind with king queen offsuit. And on table two, calling big blind against button with ace it off. On table one, going to start off with a small bet. On this ace it, I think it's fairly close to call, but I do have 2 overs, backdoor, straight draw. King queen, going to be calling the raise. And now I'm going to be bluffing my ace eight. And the king queen after turn goes check check. A hand should be good enough for value. I'll get called by some queens, get called by some tens. Maybe something like 8-7 suited. I'm pretty close to the bottom of my value betting range. I think I'm going to fold this. On table two, defending blind versus blind with pocket 4s, and on table one, 3-betting ace king button against under the gun. With the 4s, I could check or bet. Going to check. I think again I could check or bet on the turn. We bet and get a fold. On table one, min raise on the button, I'm calling the big blind with 10-9 offsuit. I think I can fold against the big-ish bet. On table 1, defending blind versus blind with 9-7 suited, and on table 2, opening hijack with pocket 8s. We flop 2 pair, going to be betting this. And on table 2, this is a flop we're going to be doing quite a bit of checking on, so going to be mostly checking back with 8s. And on the blank turn, with my 2 pair, I'll be betting big. I'm going to flat the king-queen button versus cutoff. And against this small bet, I think either calling or raising makes sense. So I'm going to call. On table 2, I opened pocket 9s under the gun, got called by the big blind. This isn't a range bet flop, but I think this hand, or I think most hands do okay as either a bet or a check. So I went ahead and bet this, and now on this turn I want to be betting big, and my hand is not strong enough for that. I think the 3 is a bad card for me. A lot of hands that could be calling my bet disappeared. Not sure if my 9s is strong enough to bet now. I think I just have to check back. On table 1, I defended big blind against button with queen 9. Flop goes check check. I want to be betting some hands with equity here. I don't think I'm going to be doing a ton of betting, so I don't need to bet that. And on the river, I think the same idea. I'm not doing a lot of betting, and my hand is kind of strong. Could win at showdown, maybe. On table 2, I 3-bet big blind versus hijack with ace queen offsuit, and bet the flop with top pair. On table 2, opening small blind with ace jack offsuit. Opening ace queen offsuit in the cutoff on table 2, and ace 7 offsuit on the small blind in table 1. We're going to fold to the 3-bet. Going to be doing quite a bit of checking back on this flop. We check back and hit a straight. I'm just going to be calling, not much point in raising. Now we just play the board. I don't think this is the greatest hand to call. It blocks a lot of bluffs. It doesn't block any 7s. So I'd rather call when I have some hand that could block a 7. On table 1, 4-betting ace king. On table 2, defending against the button open in the big blind with king 9 offsuit. And folding to the flop bet. On table 1, opening button with king 8 suited. On table 2, defending blind versus blind with king 9 offsuit, and on table 1, defending big blind against button with king queen offsuit. So with all the backdoor draws on table 2, going to call once. And fold to the turn bet. Table 2, opening under the gun with ace 10 suited. And I'm going to be calling this 3-bet. On table 1, defending big blind versus hijack with queen 2 suited. And with the ace 10, after it goes check check, I think I could consider betting, but I do still have a lot of worse hands. And I think just this hand is pretty close to what we'll call me with. On table 1, 3-betting hijack against under the gun with king 10 suited, folding to the 4-bet. On table 2, opening small blind with ace queen offsuit. And on table 1, opening button with ace 6 suited. Going to start off with a small bet. Against the raise, I think I'm mostly calling, maybe a little bit of raising. This is really not the greatest river for me. I think I'm going to go for a check call. There should be a lot of king jack and flushes in his range. Luckily, we were up against jack 10. On table 1, I opened jack 10 suited, got 3-bet by the big blind. Now we're facing a pretty big bet. Not sure if I want to raise or call, but I just called. And now we have the nuts. Just going to call. Doesn't make sense to raise this strong of a hand where we're not vulnerable at all. And we win against ace-5 suited. On table 1, defending big blind versus cutoff with 3-2 suited. And on table 2, 3-betting king jack offsuit, small blind against button. With our bottom pair, I think this is a good hand to be raising quite a bit. Calling is also reasonable. Folding the king jack to the 4-bet. So we raise and turn 2 pair. On the flush card, I want to be betting small. And I think I have much more flushes. A lot of my raising range is going to be flushes, so it makes sense to just bet a lot. On table 1, opening small blind with jack 10 offsuit. I'm going to check this. And call. And facing a turn bet now. Can't call my jack high anymore. On table 2, I'm going to be defending my big blind 3 ways with 10-8 suited. We flop trips. I don't think I get any leading here as the big blind. I do have the most tens, but I also have the widest range, have a lot of trash hands. And I think raising makes sense and also going for a really small size. A very good turn for us when we don't have a great kicker. If either of them did have a 10, they would not have a kicker lower than an 8. So I bet small on the turn, got called by the opener. I think betting makes the most sense. I have a ton of bluffs and I'm polarized. I have more tens. I'm up against more overpairs and so we were up against ace 10. That turn saved us. On table 1, calling blind versus blind with 6-5 offsuit. And here I could be betting, could check. Going to bet this time. On table 2, opening small blind with ace jack offsuit. We get 3-bet, and I think I can mix 4-betting, calling. So I'm going to 4-bet. We face a pretty big raise. I think this is a pot size raise, but I don't think I can fold. On table 2, opening hijack with 8-7 suited. I'm going to check back now. I could maybe bet this sometimes, not sure. On table 2, going to bet the flop for a small size. With the 6-5, if I bet, I don't think I'm making a 7 fold, and I don't think there's much worse that's going to be calling me. So I'm going to check back. Hopefully I'm up against a bluff. On table 2, opening button with ace-9 offsuit. On table 1, we have aces in the small blind. We're going to be 3-betting. On table 2, defending blind versus blind against this smallish open with 10-4 suited. Want to be always betting here. With the 10-4, I think I could check, I could bet. Now we have quads on table 1. I think it still makes sense to be betting when I can get called by some king, queen, king, jack, maybe a 10. So on table 2, we check the turn. Now on the river with 10 high. I think I have to be bluffing this. I think I have some pretty good blockers, or I don't have any bad blockers, so I can be betting big. A 6 is also a reasonable part of my range. We got hero called by ace high, unfortunate. On table 1, 3-betting small blind against button with pocket 5s. On table 1, opening cutoff with 9-8 suited. Going to be calling this 3-bet. And we flop really well. I think I want to be almost always betting this. We get raised. think I just want to put all the money in, run my equity, maybe get some folds. It seems better than calling, and there's probably not many turns I have to fold on, but raising seems better than calling and getting shoved on by some better hand and then losing with 9 high. Or even hitting a flush and then they get away from an overpair or something. On table 2, opening cutoff with 9-8 suited. Here we could bet, we could check. Going to check. On table 1, defending big blind versus cutoff with Jack 4 suited. And on table 2, against a small bet, going to be calling. And on table 1, I have a straight draw, not a great one, but can't fold that. And now to a bet on the turn, going to be folding. So we rivered a straight here. I think I can go for a pretty big bet. Lots of Queen X or 2 pairs to call me. On table 2 with ace-2 offsuit, could 3-bet this sometimes, going to call. And I think betting and checking are both reasonable on this flop. So I'm going to go ahead and bet. On table 1, I defended blind versus blind with king 3. Could 3-bet this as well. And as usual, I think betting and checking both make sense. On the turn, I want to be checking a lot more. And now just taking my showdown value. I have a lot of worse hands to bluff. I have a ton of ace high and king high, and even lower than that. On table 1, opening cutoff with Jack 10, folding to the 3-bet. And on table 2, opening button with Queen 5 suited, we get called by the short stack in the small blind. We flop top 2 pair. I'm going to go for a bet. With 8s unsuited, I could call this, could 3-bet it. Going to 3-bet this time. King 4, possible 4-betting hand. I'll be doing that at a low frequency. And obviously folding to a shove with 8-7. Going to play out these last 17 hands on this challenge and then end the video. The pool doesn't look super soft, so probably no part 2. On table 2, opening small blind with queen 4 suited. And on table 1, opening pocket 9s from the button. On table 2, opening button with ace-jack suited. This is a flop we'll be checking a lot. And I think this is an okay hand to turn into a bluff. Interesting line. Seems pretty strong. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next week.